Welcome to Coal Region Discontent. We're sad to find out that 13 service members had died as a result of a suicide bombing in Kabul at the airport. You know, our stronghold, even though we had an air base and even though we, had control of the whole area, and even though there hadn't been a single American service member killed in Afghanistan since February of 2020. This is unexcusable. Unexcusable. You know, they didn't dare do this kind of thing when Trump was in office. They knew better. He threatened them. He told them. That's why the date kept getting moved. See, this pulling out, they knew what was going to happen because they had the same maps that everybody else had about the Taliban that was creeping up on taking around the whole country, around the major cities, the whole time up until the United States was going to exit. You know, it's sad. It didn't have to happen. Trump, yes, former President Trump, great man, just gave a speech on what would happen if there was a hasty withdrawal from Afghanistan. If they moved too quickly, there would be a void, and that would get filled. And they would have complete control of Afghanistan, just like it happened before September 11, 2001. And we're coming up on the 20th anniversary here. Here's the thing. It's been about 20 months now, 18 months or so, since 2 weeks to flatten the curve. We went from 2 weeks to flatten the curve to take this shot or you're fired. I'm not against vaccines. Vaccines work. I'm against the push. I'm against the mandate. I don't think government should be in our everyday lives. Why should they? We don't work to provide a government. They're supposed to work for us. They don't speak for their constituents anymore. Maybe it's time to try to take our country back. You know, we have men dressing in women's clothing that can now go in to females' restroom with your 13-year-old daughters, 10-year-old daughters. They can play sports just for females. Children's teachers are calling them by different pronouns because children know what they want to be when they're 6, 7 years old. You know, when I was 6 or 7, I didn't know if I wanted to be a doctor, in the army, or Superman. But I didn't have to figure it out then, but now they can choose their gender. All these things is what happens when you give the weakest people the loudest voice. And yes, I'm calling them weak. All the people that are living in grandma's basement, the only thing they come out, they've never gone through anything. Never. Never gone through anything. Yet, they had to make something up. They had to be triggered by something because it became cool to be a victim instead of a victor. So cool to be a victim. Let me have something bad happen to me so everybody will like me and everybody will feel bad for me so they'll have empathy because they really know what empathy means. None of them have ever been to the bottom. Even people on welfare don't know what it's like to starve unless your parents are deadbeats and spending all your food stamps to buy drugs. They don't know what it's like to be poor. When I was younger, you could tell who the poor kids were. They didn't smell right. They were skinny. They were quiet. Now people are sitting there screaming about white privilege and all this. Privileged is, never having a job but having a $300 pair of sneakers. Not having to worry about rent, not having to worry about anything. Everything's paid for. Yet somehow you have Beats headphones. That's privilege. This whole country's falling apart just in a year. We have open borders. We have rides over mandates. Australia, right now, lockdown. they thought it couldn't happen to them. But they took their guns away. And then look what they did. Locked them down completely. They can't even talk to their neighbors. They didn't think it would happen to them. Well, it did. Just like we're not thinking it could happen to us. This is getting beyond ridiculous anymore. We didn't have these problems. And I'll say it, under Trump, we didn't have any problems like this. The only problems they had was, oh my God, did he say something mean? Did he offend somebody? Did he call Rosie O'Donnell a fat pig? Oh my God, did he call liberals stupid? Just because he's speaking the truth. You know, just like the same thing with this fat phobia. Nobody is afraid of you or have fear of you because you're fat. And you're apparently not comfortable being fat. So stop talking about, oh, I'm so proud to be fat and this and that. I'm fat. You know why I'm fat? Because I don't eat right, I don't exercise right, I don't do things. Just like these people that are fat. They're sloppy. I'm so tired of hearing it. We're going to put it right in your face. You're not going to body shame us. You're body shaming yourself. Like I said, these are people that had to come up with something to be offended about. Something so they can act like they had trauma or tragedy in their life. I lived in a time where, you know, being on unemployment was something you hid. Say, no, I'm working. You even hid. You even act like you went to work. Being on welfare was something that was disgraceful. Now people are like, I can't wait. I got to go pick up my card. It's stupid. It's not a black thing. It's not a white thing. It's a culture thing. You know, God forbid people try to keep families together, try and teach their kids the right way, try to teach respect, trying to teach, you know, integrity. You know, doing the right thing when nobody's looking. I'm so tired of people saying, you know, well, why should I care? It's not my job, or I get paid by the hour. Things like that. It's crap. That's the way everybody's starting to think, and that's why our country's falling apart. Because everybody has entitlement issues. Everybody feels like they're worth more than they are. You know what I think minimum wage should be? 0. I think you should be paid what you're worth. Because when you have a minimum wage, if you make and force people to pay a minimum wage, all that does is increase inflation. That's all it does. It forces inflation. That's why everything's going... Just a year ago, we were paying more than $1.50 less for gas. He went through and destroyed every one of Trump's policies. And then he tries to stick to this one. What he wanted to do was go to Afghanistan, take us out of Afghanistan, because he knew what was going to happen. And when it happened, you know, they sat there and said, well, it happened. First they said it wasn't going to happen. Then they said, well, it happened faster than we thought it was going to. So they knew it was going to happen. But what they wanted to do was, you know, say, oh, well, the Trump administration, because everybody will be like, well, yeah, I remember Trump was pulling out of there and this, that. But he had an agreement. He kept moving the date. What they wanted to do was it to blow up, to make Trump look really bad and try to make them look good because they were just trying to follow the policy, trying to be good predecessors to the... Well, it blew up in their face. Literally blew up in their face. Nobody believes them. Even CNN and everybody's turning on them. But you know what? It's starting to feel like it was planned. Everything was planned. And I'm starting to feel like maybe it's not Biden's doing. I'm feeling like Biden's just a fall guy. Just to get, you know, Kamala Harris in there and get socialism going. Because socialism's so great. Nothing ever comes out of socialism. Nobody has to strive for anything. There's no incentive to do anything better if everybody has the same. You know, all them project housing, Section 8 housing, things like that is the Democrats' version of a perfect America. Just like the mask, taking away your identity. They just want everybody the same so they can do the little jobs that they need them to do, and then when somebody gets out of line, they can get rid of them. And nobody even remembers them. You know what kind of mental abuse this is doing to our children, wearing masks in school and stuff like that? I go to a good school district where it's optional. You know, they still don't teach critical race theory. They're not going to teach hate. In fact, their school board is unanimously against it. And they should be. Why shouldn't they be? Children don't see color unless you tell them. I feel like maybe it's time for us to raise a black flag. We ain't surrendering. We need to take our country back. This needs to stop. This is what happened in Afghanistan today. It was predictable. Not like nobody saw it coming. Why don't we just, you know, ruin our perimeters, you know, let them surround us, let them take the whole country, and then trust them. Trust the generous Taliban because they have our best interests in mind. They're just chanting, you know, death to America in the background. Not worrying about the Russians, not worrying about Chinese or anybody else because their embassies are still open, but ours got overrun. The government we set up in there fled the country. 300,000 people strong, fled, gave up. Because they knew. Once our air base was gone, we couldn't give air support. We had control. Everybody talking about, oh, we're there 20 years, this and that. We have been in Korea for almost 70 years. Yes, we still have people in South Korea watching North Korea. We still have people in Germany and Europe and everything else watching Russia. We're still in Africa where there's still slavery, still human trafficking. Third world country, no electricity, no toilets, no nothing. But it's such a beautiful country there, and this and that, and the motherland, whatever. I'm just so tired of everything with it. You know, they talk about socialism, but they never put the human factor into it. There's always going to be greed. Somebody's always going to want power. Look at every place it's ever been. You can't name one where it's bad. The places they try to say, like Sweden, Norway, the Norwegian countries, they are not socialist. In fact, some of them, their markets are more free than ours. Plus, they have on a car taxes that you pay 200% tax on buying a vehicle. You have 20% sales taxes. Do you want that here? I hope they're happy. Are they proud? They got Trump out. Trump's not offending anybody. There's no more bad tweets. You know, because none of those tweets ever made it into policy. Can you tell us bad things that were happening under Trump? What happened? Corporations made more money? No. Corporations made more money, but so did the average American. The average American household brought in almost $2,500 more a year. We had tax cuts from 29% down to 21% and lower. But you're so happy. Oh my God. You know, Trump only became racist when he ran for president. Before that, everybody wanted to be him. Everybody. They were taking his advice on how to save the country economically. Everybody wanted to be him. The only people that started hating him was because of Obama. Nobody liked Obama. Black people didn't even like Obama. And we're just such a racist country that we elected. All the black people in the country could have voted for Obama, and if everybody else would have voted against him, he would have never been president. So guess what? He was president because of white people. Okay? Nobody saw color a few years ago. It's not that they didn't see color. There's still racism in this country. But you know what? It wasn't the first thing most people saw when they came. Now it's pointed out. Because the Democrats see everything in color. Everything is in color to them. They believe that your skin color is all that matters. We know why? Because it's a selling point. Because they can sell fear and anger. They can go right off emotions with it. Well, there's a lot of emotions today. 13 of our servicemen are dead after nobody dying since February of 2020. It's unforgivable. I don't know what else to say. This word probably won't get out. Nobody cares. It's not a bunch of puppies and kittens running around, so nobody wants to watch it. Everybody can hide their heads in the sand. Listen to your CNN, your MSNBC, and start seeing how they're starting to treat, Jen Psaki and President Biden. He has no regrets. No regrets. He had all the intel in the world. He is the United States of America president. The strongest, most powerful country and military in the world. He didn't know anything about. He knew exactly what was happening before the pullout. He just wanted to try to make Trump look even worse because he has nothing else to run on. When their next election comes up, they have nothing to run on. They don't have Trump. Oh, we got to get Trump out of office. We got to do this because it's going to make the country so much better. How about you tell me how much better it is when you go to the hardware store? How about you tell me how much better it is, when your local business closed down because they can't hire anybody? How about you tell me how much better it is every time you fill up at the gas pump? I hope you're happy. Most people that are watching this aren't those kind of people. But for, the trolls that like to watch my videos and like to say stuff, I hope you're happy. Oh, you're so happy. You won something, didn't you? Here's your trophy. Here you go. You participated. You know what? I'm done for the night. Don't forget to share. Yeah, share the video. Like and follow the page, and then subscribe to us on YouTube. And don't forget to check it out at anchor.fm/coalregion-discontent. We'll be coming up. I'm going to be having an interview with a candidate that's running for the governor of Pennsylvania. And you know what? I'm pretty pleased with what I'm seeing on his governing model. And I think you would be too. Remember to share and follow. Thank you, and God bless. Pray for those families of those people that we just lost in Afghanistan.